Hello folks, this is Solo once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a normal game, and we're going to be looking in this game at another Hextech team composition. We have a new patch as I'm recording this. I played this on the day that the patch, or not the day the patch came out, the day after the patch came out, but you'll be seeing this another day or two later, once I have the video ready to put up on YouTube. So we were on one patch for quite some time in Teamfight Tactics. It was supposed to be a month-long break in set 6.5 while the Riot designers could take some time and think about big picture thoughts, that sort of thing. But they ended up releasing a B patch 1 week into that month-long break, and then they actually released another bug fix patch 2 weeks after that. So we technically had B and C patches in that month-long break. But it still was a period of relative stability for at least 3 weeks. That is over now. We have a new patch, and as usual, there's been a whole bunch of changes. One of the biggest changes in the patch is they have updated the Hex Tech Trait so that the Hex Tech Trait now scales by the number of augments you have, in the same fashion that the Clockwork Trait grants increasing attack speed depending on how many augments you have. Now the Hex Tech Shield and magic damage also works the same way. Now, it seems obvious that Hextech should have just worked that way from the release of the set, not, 50 days into the set for whatever reason. It just seems kind of obvious that Hextech needs to be a scaling trait over time, but for whatever reason, it took them that long to get it in place, and now it does indeed work that way. By the way, I don't love any of these options, but I'm going to take Disintegrator because it plays fairly well into the setup I'm going for. This is a normal game, as mentioned. I wanted to go ahead and try to test out the Hextech changes, so I decided that what I would do is I would try to force this in this game. You might have noticed I have 0 Hextech units. I have seen 0 Hextech units. I have not seen Jarvan or Nocturne. I have not seen Sejuani or Swain. Those are the 1 and 2 cost versions of Hextech units. But as I said, I wanted to try this. I did have items that are decent for this. I took a bow off the starting carousel. You need bows to play this comp. So don't play this team comp. Don't try to play a Hextech team composition if you can't get at least one bow early on. So I did take the bow, and then I had a rod pop out from the minion round, and that's going to be enough to give me a Rage Blade here. So I'll go ahead and make that. And I will use Corki as my temporary item holder for a later Sivir. And I also have half of a Quicksilver Sash because I have a cloak here. So I'm going to go ahead and make the Rage Blade. It's not a great item on Corki. It's passable on him. It's certainly not one of his best items, but he can use it better than anyone else in this comp. It will cause him to scale up over time with ramping attack speed. And we're just going to play Yordles here. So we're going to be running this Yordle Opener. I do have a pretty good opening setup for Yordles. I have the I have Poppy plus Blitz for Bodyguard. I have Scrap from Ziggs plus the Blitzcrank. And then I'm going to toss this Cloak on Blitz so that he rolls a Scrap item. I was like, hey, Chalice, not what I wanted there, Blitzcrank, but it's still better than nothing, and I want to get use of that. Note that, excuse me, note that I also have a Reforger. So that's also an item. I can use it to re-roll some kind of item later in the game if I get something that, if I would get something that I don't want from the minion rounds. I'm checking the mutant ability, and the mutant ability is the Blade Master version. It's the one that gives additional attacks, chance to proc additional attacks or something like that. Considered to be one of the weaker mutant options, generally speaking. All right, so like I said, I've got Yordles in. I'm going to run them for Econ. So what else can I say about building a Hextech team composition? I'm going to go ahead and grab Nocturne because he's the first Hextech unit I've seen. So this is a team, if you recall how this trait works, it is an ability that shoots out a Hextech pulse. I believe it's at the start of the fight, and then every 6 seconds after that, I actually have the cheat sheet here. Yeah, the start of combat, and every 6 seconds afterwards, the Hex Core shoots out a pulse of energy. It shields all Hextech units, and while the shield is on them, they deal bonus magic damage on their auto attacks. So it's shield plus magic damage on your auto attacks, but only extra magic damage if the shield is not broken. This is one of the reasons why Hextech has been such a problematic trait throughout this set, because I've said this before in previous videos, if you set the amount too low, then the shields just get broken instantly, and the trait is completely useless because, getting a tiny shield every 6 seconds and then nothing else because the shield's getting broken and you're not getting magic damage. That's a pretty weak trait. So yeah, set it too low, the trait does nothing. But if you set it too high, which is what happened in the release version of this game, then the shields become too difficult for anyone to break, and they just steamroll over the enemy team. Because remember, the shields don't get applied at the start of the fight like Scrap does. Scrap gives you a shield, but it just applies at the start of the fight. You keep getting the shield repeatedly throughout the fight with Hextech. So if the shield's set too high, you know, there's just not enough damage to break the shields, and they just absolutely clobber everybody else. So that has been the real problem with this trait. When set 6.5 first came out, the Hex Tech trait was overtuned. It was too strong. Antisocial Monkey was actually taking augments that granted a Sejuani just to get the Sejuani. That's how strong it was. But yeah, they toned it down. They nerfed that and made Hex Tech like unplayably too weak, which is where it was for most of the last month. And then they've been like steadily, slowly increasing the power to the point where now, with this rework, it's now one of the stronger traits in the game again. Although it is better balanced than it was in the release version, which was just kind of a joke. All right, so I won the first 2 rounds, lost the 3rd round. That was up against someone who's apparently going to play reroll Debonair Syndra. And on this carousel, I very badly wanted this Lucian because that would give me a twin shot option to pair with Corki, and that was not there. So I was like, well, okay. Well, I guess I'm going to take this Corki with a rod. And the reason for that is I can always put rod items on Lucian later on. It could be like a Morello's. It could just be extra damage or something. Lucian's actually a pretty good Morello's applier. But it also makes 2-star Corki right now. So this actually does make me stronger in the immediate future. So hopefully that will help to preserve health while I'm running the Yordles. And rods are good on Corki. He deals magic damage. So like it's a good item on him, and it makes a 2-star version. And I can always swap this over to Lucian later on. So I would have preferred to get the Lucian there. I would have just played the Lucian for Twin Shot, which would have been quite nice because Corki's damage goes up by a lot with Twin Shot. This is making the best I can off of getting 3rd pick on the carousel and not being able to get the item I want. So looking pretty good so far. This person is Mercenary, Lost Streaking apparently. So you can't, I say this oftentimes in these games, like I can't stop you from Mercenary Lost Streaking, but what I can do is try to make it as painful as possible for you. Would have liked to have dealt another 2 damage and dealt 10, but Poppy just barely dies, so that person's going to be Lost Streaking for the time being, and hopefully no one will cash them out. No, hopefully no one gives them some ridiculous cash out or anything like that. And there's 2 people who are win streaking in the lobby. Breakup Baby, who's the person I lost to. That was the person playing the reroll Syndra, and then this other person, CXS King. So I was looking at them because that's a team I can potentially hit, and I was like, I think I probably beat that person. I'm also concerned about this comp that I'm highlighting here and just clicked away. That person is running Hex Tech, and they're very clearly going into Hex Tech. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to be contested for this build, but it does look like it's only one other player. The other thing is they're putting their like their Rage Blade, Quicksilver Sash on Lucian, which is actually kind of good for me because that means they're going to have to sell the Lucian and transfer those items over to Sivir, who's the carry for this team composition. Or if they don't do that, if they just play through Lucian, they're going to be a lot weaker in the long run. So it's not great being contested, but at least I'm in a situation where they are going to have to sell their Lucian if they want to put those items on Sivir. All right, this fight was close. Fortunately, the Blitzcrank dies like 1 second before it was about to hook the Corki. If the Corki gets hooked there, I'm pretty sure I lose that fight. But fortunately, no. We are able to win the fight and end that person's win streak. Now, the bad news is when I lost that 1 round, what turned out to be pretty bad, note that I went 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins. It was like the worst possible sequence as far as where I was losing rounds. Would have been much better to lose the first round and then win 4 in a row. But, you know, you can't control that as far as RNG goes. So it is what it is. All right, so here I've picked up some more Hextech units. I'm kind of stashing them on the bench right now. I've got this Nocturne that is 2-starred that maybe I'll play. And then I was thinking maybe I play the Echo for Assassin, but I was like, no, I don't think I would do that. I already have Scrap Trade in. I'm not going Scrap 4 this game, so I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see, I get another Rod, and then I get a Tier. So I was like, all right, these are okay items. Then I get a Belt, so I was like, all right, you know, I can turn this into a Morello's. So I'll just continue itemizing the Corki. Also, I sell the Poppy to get back to 30 gold. So I'm going to itemize the Corki here, and I'll put this other Rod on him, so not bad. What I really should have done is I should have played the Swain over the Brand. on the previous round, and then I could have sold the brand instead of selling the extra poppy. So now I'm hoping I can win this round again so I can get up to 40 gold. I'm just trying to hit those income breakpoints so that I can keep getting that extra income each round. All right, so yeah, Swain just goes in for the Arcanist trade. I mean, 1-star Swain is not great, but he's better than 1-star Brand, and it's a Hextech unit. And remember, I'm trying to stash Hextech units to play into this team composition later. So I might as well play it on the board if it's better than having the Brand. And that way I don't have to like waste bench space or hold units that I don't actually want. All right, so we're up against this person who's playing an Arcanist team composition with Malzahar. I'm very glad that I had the Morellos here because I think that made the difference in stopping the healing that was on Mal's Gunblade. I don't think I win that if I didn't get the Morellos there. So overall, that's looking pretty good. And yeah, we're just kind of in a strong place here, 3-match win streak. So pretty happy with that. Now I'll go ahead and level to 6. This is the standard leveling timing to get to level 6. And once again, if I win this round, I can sell Poppy to get to 40 gold, which I think I would do. But I'm in pretty solid shape here. The one person who's playing Reroll Syndra has not lost yet. That is a build that's going to be pretty strong in the early and mid game. It will fall off very hard late game unless they transfer out of that. You generally don't win a lobby with Reroll Syndra. At least not anymore. There was a point in time where that was really overpowered, but it has been nerfed a good bit. I have not been moving my units around. I've been looking at these comps, and I think that my positioning is pretty good against these. So I've been pretty content with what I've got right now. And this is another fight where the Morellos is really good to burn away at that Cho. Also, my board deals almost entirely magic damage, so Cho having the Bramble doesn't really do anything. So we're able to cut through that, and once again, sell the Poppy to get up to 40 gold. It's kind of hilarious I still have a 1-star Poppy for my front line. But I keep wanting to get up to the next income breakpoint, and I don't think that Poppy makes that big of a difference. Okay, so I thought about the Hextech Unity. Hextech trait grants its bonus to all your champions. This would give me a Sejuani. I am planning on playing it to Hextech, but I don't think this is that good. I really think it's fairly weak, because if you're playing into Hextech, then you're going to be playing almost entirely Hextech units anyway. So, like, what's the benefit of playing... what's the benefit of giving this to, like, 1 or 2 units? If I play Hextech 6, then, like, almost all of my units are going to be Hextech. So I don't think Hextech Unity really does that much. On the other hand, having Celestial is really good. Getting healing for everyone on your comp is always nice. So even though it might seem like, hey, you're going to play... If you're playing into Hextech, why would you not want to play Hextech Unity? I actually think that the Celestial is quite a bit better here. This means that like Sivir will have some lifesteal, will get some modest lifesteal that heals her for damage dealt. That way I don't have to worry about building like a Bloodthirst or anything like that. She'll be able to heal like any chip damage that she takes. And of course the same for other units as well, but Sivir's the main carry, so she's the most significant unit. I've also found a Lucian, so I will just play the Lucian. I was going to play Nocturne, but I'll end up playing the Lucian instead. So I'm up against the person who's playing Syndra Reroll again. They did lose a round, so they're no longer a full win streak. And this is a close fight, but I didn't think that I would match up that great against this because I kind of have my units clumped on the left-hand side. So we're actually going to kill everything except Syndra, but then I do end up losing the round. So it's not a bad loss by any means, but I do have my win streak, which was, I guess, going on 4 rounds there, come to a close. Still, my board is actually kind of funny. I have no wasted traits right now. I have 6 traits in, and it's like the perfect team composition to mix everything together. All right, there is a Sivir on this carousel with a bow, which would be the absolute perfect unit. I would have all my Sivir items ready to go. I just make Static Shiv and play her, but of course that's not going to be there. It goes to the person who's lost streaking with Mercenaries. So I was like, okay, well, would have liked that. I'm not going to get it, but oh well. So out of what's left over, I decide, let's take this Braum, who has the glove, and I'll just use this to make Quicksilver Sash, because that is one of the other units I want to, or one of the other items I want to make. Rage Blade, Quicksilver Sash, and then if I can get a bow for Static Shiv, those are considered to be like more or less the best Sivir items if you're playing into Hextech Sivir. The Striker version of Sivir wants more AD, but the Hextech version generally wants to emphasize attack speed super heavily. So Rage Blade stacks up attack speed, Static Shiv debuffs the magic resistance of the enemy team, and also gives you a little bit more attack speed. And then Quicksilver Sash gives you the protection against crowd control, and again, more attack speed. So those are considered to be the best items for Hextech Sivir, which is what I'm planning on playing into here. All right, for this round, I am up against the person who is playing the Mercenary Lost Streak. You might remember we saw this person earlier in the game. They're up to a fairly sizable lost streak right now. And I'm like, I really don't want to cash this person out. They've rolled all the way down to 0 at level 7. So the good news is they're not going to be getting much stronger. So this is a pretty close fight. That MF halt hurts a lot. So it's like, oh, can we get this? And Blitz. Blitz comes through. Blitz hooks the MF, and that wins the fight for us. So no, we don't cash that person out. I was like, all right, yeah, let's just get this person out of the lobby, please, before they cash out a big lost streak. So they're going to go down to 24 HP, and they're losing their margin for error. They do not have a lot of health left. All right, so I'm only, 12 to level, so I decided, all right, I'll go ahead and level here. Why not? Let's just toss in another unit. When it's that cheap to level, usually it's worthwhile to go ahead and level here. I'm not on a win streak or anything, but I figure gives us better shop odds. And if I win this round, I can get to 40 gold. So, I'm only losing 1 gold of interest. So we'll go ahead and do that here. I'm going to position Nocturne to hit the center of the enemy board because that's where there is the spotlight. And I actually hooked the Jhin at the start of this fight. So I was like, all right, I think I probably just win the fight off of hooking their Jhin. That's most of their damage. I guess they have an Orianna with a Thief's Glove. But, Blitzcrank on the other team, hooking my Corki, and then he gets hooked right into the Misfortune ultimate on the other team. And I was like, oh, man, that Blitzcrank hook literally just won the fight. Corki, I'm pretty confident Corki would have killed all those units if he hadn't been hooked. So yeah, the delayed second Blitzcrank hook, something you don't see very often. So that's going to end up costing us in this one. And then I sell Poppy yet again to get to 40 gold, and then once again, Poppy pops out. So the way I've gone back and forth with this Poppy. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the Hex Tech trait. So right now there seems to be a sweet spot at Hex Tech 6. Not at Hex Tech 4, not at Hex Tech 8, at Hex Tech 6 very specifically. My read on this is that the designers just have the numbers wrong right now. So right now Hex Tech 4 is 150 shield, Hex Tech 6 is 300 shield. So it doubles to go from Hex Tech 4 to 6. And then to go up to Hex Tech 8, it only goes from 300 to 400. So it's like 150, 300, 400. So it's like not really worthwhile to go up to Hex Tech 8. Because you have to play the really crummy Hextech units like Nocturne and Swain. So like I said, not worthwhile to go up to that level. But Hextech 6 doubles from Hextech 4, and that's a very big deal indeed. So that's part of the reason why Hextech 6 seems to be in this really nice location in terms of being strong. So that's what I'm gearing towards right now. I went ahead and made a Sunfire on Poppy just because I got some tank items to drop. I've also tossed a random Jhin into the team composition for some extra damage. Jhin, of course, does not make any traits here, but he was better than anything else I thought I could play. Potentially could have maybe played something like Gangplank for Twin Shot 3, which would not have been bad. And, this is a close fight, but the Ticking Maul's damage. We were one Corki auto attack away from winning that. One more missile would have won that fight, so it's a narrow loss. The good news is that person's already rolled quite a bit of gold at level 7, so they've come up a little bit short. And yeah, I'm just, econing here, trying to get up to level 9, or level 8, excuse me, and then I'll roll on level 8. Remember, I am being contested by one other player for Sivir, so I'm hoping that I can find Sivir. And then I was like, what's better here? Would it be better to play the Seraphine? I was like, I think it is actually better to play the Seraphine, so I'll just toss that unit in, although I should put a unit on the spotlight. And then I was like, wait, what? Mutant Sivir, what? Remember, the mutant trait is Blade Master, so I'm up against this person's team comp. The mutant trait is Blade Master, so you get these extra auto attack procs. So apparently this person had the bright idea to turn Sivir into a mutant, and with this mutant trait, that's actually a pretty good choice. It's really not a bad option here whatsoever, but that's annoying because now it means 2 people are going to be playing Sivir in this lobby, potentially. Me and 2 other people. Now, the good news is that person's only level 6, so they're quite a way behind the pace of the game. It looks like they've been re-rolling for more mutants. But I was like, oh man, really? Really? Someone's going to play... Someone in a mutant board is going to play Sivir 2? So that's not quite what I wanted. Anyway, I've been losing these rounds, but they have been close losses. The other Hextech person has not found Sivir. They have found +1 Hextech emblem, or Hextech heart, so that's a little bit of a bad sign. This Hextech 6 board gets much stronger if you can play +1 Hextech units if you get like a Hextech heart or emblem or whatever. Just because that way you can cut out one of the bad Hextech units. Like, you don't really want to be playing, as I said, Nocturne or Swain if you can manage it. So +1 Hextech is actually really nice. This fight, though, is super sad. I had 2 close losses. This is not a close loss. And the whole reason why is because that Talon jumps right on top of Quirky. So it turns into a pretty bad loss. I was like, that was positioning difference right there. I should have been on top of that. I should have been watching. And that person's also on 8 Syndras. So they're going to have 3-star Syndra pretty soon. Okay, good news, department. There's a bow here on a 5-cost Victor. So if I can grab that, I have Static Shiv and I have Perfect Sivir items. And it's on a 5-cost unit, of course. All right, well, that doesn't happen. So I'll take the next best option. I will take this Silco out of the pool and get Silco and just take the frontline item, because this could be Redemption, it could be Warmogs. I can make something out of this. Put it on Alistar, put it on Vi, put it on Sejuani. I'll be able to get this on someone. All right, so here's the most complicated turn of the game. I have to try to get to level 8, roll down, and reconfigure my board. There's a Tom there, but I don't think this board necessarily plays into that. I could have considered that, though, because this is a board that plays into Bruiser. So I did have that option there. Right now I'm finding Nars. There's a Sivir. All right, so now we need to get these items transferred over. So we're going to put Sivir on the board, get rid of Poppy. We need to get Jarvan in. We need to get Sedge in. We need to get Vi in. So again, I'm switching over here. I don't quite manage to make it. So I'm going to get Sivir there, and then I'm going to put the Morellos on Lucian, and then I want to put my tank items on a frontliner. So I wasn't quite able to finish, unfortunately. I still have the Quicksilver Sash on Blitz. Blitz needs to come out of the comp as well. And then I need to put Nocturne in so I can get 6 Hextech in. So I wasn't quite able to finish transitioning here, and you see the natural result. I'm not able to finish transitioning my board, so I'm going to lose this round. And oh, it's up against the Mercenary player, isn't it? Oh. Now, if there's any good news here, it's that I didn't give them a big cash out. They were on a 3-match losing streak, not a gigantic losing streak. But still, I was like, oh, man, that team's on 1 hit point. I really wanted to get them out of the lobby. On the plus side, though, I get a really nice augment for the last choice. I get the Hextech, what is it, the Hextech Heart? Or whatever it is, that gives me the Hextech emblem. So now I can turn Vi into a Hextech unit. And that means that I can play 6 Hextech, and I don't have to play either Nocturne or Swain. So I was actually kind of holding these, like this Nocturne the entire game. And then I ended up not having to play it, which is not bad. So again, I'm rolling here. All right, I'm going to hit the Vi. I'm going to hit the Gnar. So I think that this is the best I can do for right now. I'm going to reforge this because I don't have a need for this rod. It's going to turn into a Warmogs, and then it's going to turn into a, I'm going to use that Sunfire Cape. So I'm in pretty good shape. I still have this tier on my bench. I'm really praying that I will get a bow drop from the last minion round. I have not gotten a bow to drop the entire game, so I actually have decent odds to get a bow to drop from the last minion round, but I'll hold off in committing anything until then. I also could get a spatula. It's low odds, but I could theoretically get a spatula. And then I would be able to make a Hextech emblem, and then I would play 8 Hextech for that. I could play, like, I don't know, I could maybe find Galio and turn him into a Hextech unit as well, which would be awesome. And then I could play 6 Hextech plus Colossus, which would be really cool. I'm also hoping to find more Sivers, so that's the other thing. I found 1 Sivir so far. It is being contested, so hopefully I can 2-star this. I have an Aurelia on my bench. I don't really see how Aurelia fits into my comp, but it is a possibility. Like, I have 3 Striker in right now, so I could maybe look to play that. But, like, I definitely don't want to drop down below 6 Hextech. I mentioned 6 Hextech is the big spike in the current patch. I would not be surprised if this gets nerfed because, as I've said, it's too big of a jump from 4 to 6. It doubles from 4 to 6. So anyway, let's keep an eye on what pops out of this minion round. I went on a losing streak there, but I think my board is stabilized now. I wish I had a little bit more health than 43 HP. But oh, a Nico, that's not bad. Hey, and a bow. That's what we were looking for. All right, so I'm going to continue rolling here. If I can find 1 more Sivir, I could potentially Nico the Sivir, so that's a possibility. I hit 2-star Aurelia, so maybe that's a possibility as well. Could play 4 Strikers, certainly. And then I find a Jace. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we can play Jace for 3 Enforcer with the new Enforcer. That's not bad. And then I was like, man, can I find 1 more Sivir? Oh, there it is. Well, this is worth Nicoing. Like Nico's are there to be used. This means now I can probably look to econ up to level 9. So let's go. We've got Static Shiv, Quicksilver, and Rage Blade, which again are considered to be Sivir's best items for the Hextech version, not the Striker version. And I've kind of two-starred my whole board, everything except Alistar and I guess Jace. So I was like, all right, I guess we'll play this. We'll look to go to level 9. And yeah, Sivir kind of dumpstering the enemy teams now that she's two-starred and has Hextech in. So yeah, and like look at that damage chart. Note that most of her damage is magic. It's like 2/3 magic, 1/3 physical. This is the opposite of the Striker version of Sivir, because she deals mostly physical damage in the Striker version, but she deals mostly magic damage in the Hextech version. So yeah, that's why it was necessary to use the Nico. That person who's playing the mutant version has 2-star Sivir, and then there's another person who has 1-star Sivir. So the odds of hitting this unit were relatively low if I kept rolling. So I really do think that was the best way to use the Nico. No need to like hold this forever. I am on not terrible health, but like not super high health either. Just Nico the Sivir. Let's go to 9. Maybe we can look to find Jace 2 there. Maybe we can find Galio there. And we'll figure out what we're going to play. We'll get one more unit slot. I was actually thinking maybe it's Jinx, because that would put Twin Shot in play for Lucian. What I wasn't thinking about was the fact that I'm playing Vi. So that would, yeah, you can't play Vi and Jinx together. And once again, we cut through that board. That was the mutant board. So again, I would be happy to get them out of the lobby. Their Cho has a Bramble, but again, my damage is magic, so that Cho's damage does nothing. Or that Bramble Vest does nothing against all my magic damage. So yep, just econing right now. Oh, I guess technically I could also play 8 Hextech, but again, I think it's better not playing 8 Hextech. I think it's better to play good units as opposed to putting in, like, again, Swain or something. I'm also keeping an eye on the Mercenary player. They're running 6 Bruiser, 5 Mercenary. That's actually very greedy to be running 5 Mercenary on 1 HP. So I'm like, geez, can someone beat this comp before they scale up on Mercenary items? They're on 1 hit point. If they had had 1 more unit survive against them, literally the entire game, then we would have seen this person get knocked out of the lobby already. So I'm like, yeah, somebody please beat this Mercenary board, please. I was also repositioning a little bit. I'm trying to position away from the Syndra. By the way, great Alistar ult, hits the whole enemy team. I was trying to position away from the 3-star Syndra. I was trying to get it so she would throw units not at my carries. And alright, I'm stopping back in to peek on the Mercenaries board. Here is the 3-star Syndra. I'm like, come on, Syndra. I don't think you've got this, but I would sure love it if you could beat this Mercenaries player and get them out of the lobby, but no. Nope, it's not enough. And they're now on a 5-match win streak. I'm like, this is going to be a problem. All right, so what do we have here? Well, there's a Galio with a Bramble. I would love that. I mean, I could potentially just play the Galio at 9. I could take out Jace, lose the Enforcer trait, and play the Galio with a Bramble. I think I would probably do that. Or I could just put it on Alistar, and then he'd have, what is it? He'd have Warmogs plus Bramble plus whatever his other item is. But no, it gets taken away. I was like, oh, really? Really? I guess I am last pick on Carousel. If that Galio had been on the other side of the carousel, though, I could have taken it. Just RNG, it was on the other side of the carousel. So I'll take RFC and put it on Jace, and that's not terrible because that allows Jace to attack faster. He'll get his acceleration gate off faster, and so on and so forth. There's actually one thing I could have done is I could have picked up extra Vi's, and I could have looked to find another Vi and transfer this Hextech emblem from Vi over to Jace. Jace would actually use it incredibly well, because remember, it's all about every auto attack you apply the extra Hextech damage, and I probably should have been looking to do that. But, you know, I did like having 3 Enforcer. This was one of the other big changes in this most recent patch. They changed Enforcer from being a trait at ranks 2 and 4 up to 3. This is a really stupid change, because they basically just, like, deleted Enforcer from the game. Now it's, like, it's so difficult to get Enforcer in now. And you can no longer Enforcer the highest damage dealer on the enemy team. You can only Enforcer the highest health target. Oh, but what do we have here? The Malzahar player is winning against the Mercenaries player. I was like, oh, all right. Now we've got that Mercenaries player out of the lobby. No more scaling up for you. So yeah, they just drop out of the lobby, and they actually go out in 8th place, which I was like, ha ha ha. Take that. That's what you get for lost streaking with Mercenaries. You guys know I'm not big on running Mercenaries, so always fun to see someone just completely fall on their face when that happens. Yeah, so they did get a cash out. They did get strong, but they should not have been running 5 Mercenaries. in the late game. Once they got the cash out, they should have just moved out of mercenaries entirely. But these are normal games, and people sometimes play super greedy in normal games. All right, so we are up against this person who's playing some version of, I guess, Clockwork Snipers. They actually have a board that caps out super high. Like, they're playing Tom, they're playing Galio, they're playing Zeri. So, like, if this person is able to 2-star all their units, this is going to be a very strong team composition. But for once, Alistar gets off some amazing ults. He actually gets right in the back of the team and CCs the Jhin. And that's going to run my win streak out to a full 6 matches in a row. So that's really nice. Now, I do make a bit of a mistake here. I should have picked up this Silco, because Silco is another unit I should have been looking to play at level 9. I didn't realize this until after the game was over, but Silco would be a really good unit to play on this board. Like, obviously, I could also potentially play Galio over the Jace. That's also an option, but I should pick up Silco, because the big thing that spikes my damage is when Sivir gets her ult off. Like, when she gets her ult off, she immediately starts attacking really fast, and that causes her Rage Blade to spike. So I really should have been looking to do anything that gets her to ult faster, which is what Silco does. It would also get Jace to ult faster. So, like, just getting that extra mana at the start of the fight would be a huge deal. So Silco is probably the best, like, extra unit I can toss in. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to play Jace or not. Like, I was considering, as I said, maybe I play Galio over Jace. But, you know, I hit the Jace 2-star, so I was like, all right, I guess it's Jace. I guess we're playing Jace on this board. And then I toss in the Jinx, forgetting that, yes, Jinx does grant me Twin Shot, but she also makes Rival Trait with Vi, and I think it's better not to have this, because Twin Shot's not really that important in this team comp. I mean, it's like, okay, Lucian can apply Morellos to slightly more people. It's like, whatever. That's not really a big deal. So, anyway, whatever. All right, I am up against the Malzahar board, the person who's running Arcanist. So I thought I was going to win this round pretty easily, but no. Actually, no, I do not manage to win this round easily. I actually lose kind of badly. Well, it's actually very close. We were 1 instant away from killing the whole team, but that did surprise me. I thought I was going to beat that person, so I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess that wasn't it. I just thought with 2-star Jace and 2-star Alistar, who takes the Morello because I have no other person to put it on, I thought that I'd be able to find, you know, something better to put in, but no. And then there are some Seraphines here, so I think I end up playing the Seraphine instead. I actually went by more Seraphines. I should have picked them up, because that is another option as well. It does give me a rank of the Spotlight. I was like, Galio, no, so I guess I'll play this. And then I should put Sivir on the Spotlight, which I do. But I do think that Silco is a better choice than this. Like, getting 1 rank of the Spotlight, not bad, but I think Silco, so that Sivir's ult goes off, you know, 3 seconds earlier in the fight, actually makes a much bigger difference. Anyway, we're up against the Mutant team. Again, the Cho just melts instantly because I deal magic damage, and the Cho has a Bramble, so we win that really fast. And then it looks like the Malzahar Arcanist board is going to win and knock out the Jhin player, so it looks like it's going to be down to just the 2 of us. And that person's actually on a winning streak right now, so I was like, all right. Well, now Sivir's on the Spotlight, so that should be better. And I'm gonna grab this. This Victor, because I know that they want to play into Victor. I also need to grab any Vexes I can find, because they are close to Vex 3-star as well. Since it's a 1-on-1, I definitely want to switch into this. Definitely want to try to deny them units. This is a build that's become increasingly popular right now. The 6 Arcanist that focuses on Malzahar or Ahri and then goes into Victor late game. It seems to be quite strong. This person does not have 3-star Vex, which is what you usually need to win the lobby. But they do have an awful lot of mana generation on that Malzahar. Now, the good news is Enforcer is hitting the Mauls, because Mauls is a 3-star target, has the highest health. But watch the Alistar in this fight. He is going to get off his ultimate. So I was like, all right, I guess I win this fight. They have a Victor that's going off. I was like, oh, come on. Oh, I lost again. Wow, that fight was close. Yeah, Alistar's first ult was not very good, just kind of charged off and hit nothing. So I was like, man. So what do I take? I was like, there's not a Victor, so I don't have to deny that. I was wondering if I should take the Vex, but they didn't look like they were going for the Vex. I go ahead and take the Dragon's Claw, because this person's comp is all magic damage. But I think in retrospect, maybe it would have been better to deny them that blue buff, because they put that blue buff on their Victor. So again, I'm rolling here. I was like, So Galio, no. Again, I should be picking up the Vi's and looking to transfer the Hextech emblem on Vi over. Also, probably should have played Silco, as I said. So I've got the Seraphine in, which is not terrible, but like I've seen a couple Silcos, and I do think that would have been a better unit. But yeah, I mean, it's 15 HP against 11s. This is probably going to be the end of the game. I'm actually going to shift Alistar because I really want him to target the back line and not this Vex with the Quicksilver Sash. So watch, keep your eye on Alistar in this fight. Oh no, he goes over to the Vex again and watch his charge. Who's he going to go after in this fight? Is he going to hit the backlines? No, he hits the Vex with the Quicksilver, and Vex gets off another ult at the last second. I was like, are you kidding me? Come on, Alistar. So their Victor ult's going to go off. We just need Sivir's bounces to hit a few more targets, and oh, we narrowly win that one. Very close. Otherwise, we would have had to do another round. But yeah, Alistar, what the heck? His targeting is so finicky. For whatever reason, instead of hitting the entire enemy backline, he charges to hit the Vex as a Quicksilver Sash, who then gets her ult off at 1% health or whatever. So we did end up winning. I think my board was definitely stronger. And overall, this is a very solid team composition. So it is one that you can be looking to play. It's definitely one of the stronger options in this new patch. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a great week and take care.